So let's welcome on board then Sandeep Kataria, whole-time Director and Chief Executive Officer at Bata India, joining us on the show right now. Sandeep, hi, morning. Good to have you on the show. Sandeep, with the current economic scenario and the slowdown that's prevalent, and especially in the consumption universe, what is your sense? If personal tax is cut, can that really lead to a growth in consumption in the near term?
I think having more money in consumers' hands is always a welcome thing. I'm sure if we are able to do that through either a personal tax cut or any other way, it would be great for the consumption side of the story, and hence will surely impact positively the economy.
So, till now, a lot has been done when it comes to corporate tax cuts, focus on infrastructure. Do you really think money by personal tax cuts or saving in the hand of direct consumer needs to be given for faster growth and revival?
I think that depends on what kind of a stimulus we are able to give. See, the reality is a corporate tax cut is a longer gestation period. Corporates will realize that and then include that in their investment strategies. Whereas consumer retail tax cut is obviously so much more immediate, and having more money in consumers' hands can translate into increase in consumption quite immediately.
What do you think is required to boost the economy, and what sort of stimulus package initiatives do you think will be required to boost the leather and the footwear sector?
See, this time the government has been really inclusive. They have gone out and included the industry. We've had a chance to, through the Retail Association as well as through the Leather Manufacturers Association, give our inputs to the government. And we find them quite open and in a listening mode this time, which has been a really welcome change. And we hope some of these things will translate into good stimulus and direction in the budget.
Well, the government may increase customs duty on several products like paper, footwear, rubber and toys in the budget to promote Make in India. How do you see this aiding to your company?
Yeah, Bata specifically, we have 4 of our own manufacturing units. We have so many 100 plus contract manufacturers. We manufacture almost everything in the country. So for us, something like this is a welcome. We will surely help us get more production from the country.
Any particular representation or demand of the footwear industry for the budget?
I think the big one is much more macro, which is about saying we have felt that the consumers have been a little constrained in their spending this year. We saw that more pronounced in the second half. And therefore, the request really from immediate request is to see how we can improve the sentiment of the consumer and aid them in the driving consumption. The other one which we have represented to the government has been about adopting a national trade policy, which can then apply and help the overall retail industry as a whole.
Right. So what will you say about the current slowdown? Do you really think the slowdown in consumption is intensifying, or do you think it's sort of on the verge of abating?
Well, this is a loaded question, and I wish I had a crystal gaze, ball to be able to gaze and tell you. We hope that we have bottomed out, and as we go forward with the budget stimulus, that we start gaining.
Can you talk about regional players? Is that creating an opportunity for large players to gain market share?
See, my view on this is that each one of the players, all competition, have a role to play in a country as big as India. The regional players satisfy specific needs which a national player sometimes is not able to cater to. But things like GST, for example, are great for a national player. Making the whole country into one market, as has happened with the GST ruling adoption, has been fantastic for us. For us to be able to use our inventory more productively, to consider the country as one, move from having 10, 12 RDCs into only 4, to cater are great signs for us. So coming back to your original question, I think there is space for both, and I think both will continue to grow in a country the size of India.
Till now in consumption, we've seen new ranges, launches that have driven growth. Do you think new launches will be the way going forward?
Actually, that continues. Innovation is pretty much the bloodline for any consumer-driven company. Consumers are looking, especially in the fashion industry, they're looking for new articles, innovation, fashion, and therefore for us that will continue to be an important part of our strategy.
Sandeep, the footwear industry has really transformed from a commodity product to a lifestyle product now. With this kind of changing sentiment, what is your outlook on the sector per se for the next couple of years? Where is that headed?
I think the sector has opportunity to grow in both directions. Our per capita consumption on an annual basis is actually quite small when you compare it to any of the Southeast Asian countries or China. I think there's opportunity for more. As women step out of home and more working women come in, the need that they have of different types of shoes goes up. As the fashion consciousness continues to rise, as we mature in the urban centers, that's going to drive not just a need for different types of shoes, but also more fashionable and a higher value-added shoes. So I think there's a huge opportunity for the sector to grow in pretty much all dimensions.
Sandeep, great to have you on the show, and we should have this interaction more often, but good to get in your budget expectations as to what the footwear industry and the industry at large expects from the finance minister, given that consumption has been hit by the slowdown as well.